Hola, Embargo.
Hey,
Book
what's up,
2,
everybody?
Chapter Trace.
Episode whatever.
Me llamo Big Tuna. We got Big Tuna and Yellow Snapper here, rocking and rolling.
uh, how's we're talking offline a little bit, but how's your last 2 weeks been going?
It's been crazy. I had a wedding. Wait a minute. Not this weekend. The weekend before, I had a wedding up in Asheville, North Carolina, which is like the beer capital of North Carolina, which is tons of fun. Yeah,
Is that where like Westbrook and all that is? Is it Westbrook and
like Wicked Weed and
oh yeah.
yeah, Burial, which is kind of a new one, and then there's there's a lot of great stuff up in Asheville. So I usually just go to town on brews.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, but other than that, just kind of chilling and doing my thing. You're the one with the exciting news, man.
Oh no, I was just telling Seth when we were offline that I have a not to discuss people, but I have this abscess on my gums from an infected tooth that I gotta get a root canal on. So my root canal is coming up in like 2 days, and now I'm just dealing with that infection, which means no cigar, which means a lot of pain and antibiotics. So I'm a little I've been better.
You've seen better days.
I see better days. And plus I just started a new job. So, there's that whole like intensity and learning curve of that. But that's all right. I mean, the I have full dental insurance now to cover this. So,
you have dental insurance. Perfect. There you go. That's one of those things. Dental insurance is like freaking ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. I have excellent teeth. My dentist says it's like, boom. I mean, I'm a tooth champ. So I'm like, dude, I don't like. What the fuck do I have dental insurance for? Why do I even bother with this shit?
You see that, and just something happens, you're like, oh crap, this is expensive.
That's when it's like, fuck, man. Whoops.
Right. So yeah, man. So last 2 weeks it's been mainly dealing with this, teeth and tooth abscess, and starting my new job, and it's been going a lot of stuff, man. Like in terms of just of course personal crap, but anyways, so let's tell the good folks that are watching this what this show.
This show is about a lot of things, and I don't have the list in front of me. But since you're not smoking, you're gonna run through this yellow stuff. We're gonna talk about a lot of hot topics.
Yeah. So we created this show to namely talk about just kind of a mixture of course, what we always talk about in the show of kind of what we've been smoking within the last time we had this show, which is 2 weeks ago, because this, of course, airs every 2 weeks. We also wanted to talk about a new edition of a routine of kind of what we've been buying lately and the reasoning behind buying those specific, of course, Habanos. And then the remaining show, we wanted to mainly hit some pointers on some of the new stuff that's recently being released, such as like the Upman 2 Reservas, the incredibly hyped Ramon Ionis 898, which is the Germany regional.
Alemania.
Yep. And then and things of that nature. And then last but not least, we wanted to talk about putting up the gates of hybrid tobacco, in hybrid in the sense of Cuban using Cuban tobacco, with non-Cuban tobacco, and what that looks like, because at least one of the vendors out there is already doing it. So let's get to it.
We should talk about what Chuck Pagano and the University of Michigan's punter are smoking well, man, because punting so far has been a hot topic.
Dude, all right, let me ask you this. This is totally off topic, but I just want to ask you this real quick.
Is this in regards to the punting?
Yeah.
Nice. Which one are we talking about? Chuck Pagano or Michigan?
Who had a shittier game over the weekend? Michigan or Indiana. Did you watch the Indiana Colts game yesterday?
I watched them both.
Okay.
I feel like this is Mike and Mike right now. First of all, we had a great debate with some people on like why the hell did Michigan punt it on 4th down? And I'm no expert. But why the fuck would you not punt it on 4th down in that situation? You know what I mean? I don't like your other option is to like hand it off to a running back and hopefully he can run around and avoid players for 10 seconds without fumbling, right. Which is a complete – well, entertaining as that might be to watch has the potential to be a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Which, given the fact that it's college football, who knows what happened. Now, in the end, I feel bad for Michigan's team, the punter. I mean, you're a punter. All right. You ever play football?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played back in high school, like back in the day, like high school.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So when you get that ball, you're a punter. It's a low snap, which sucked, but he should have gotten it. His initial reaction, obviously, is going to be what his job is. I got to kick this fucking ball. I mean, right. I think that's what any punter would do. But he just totally fucked up and started to do a bicycle kick almost. I mean, it's. Right.
I mean,
so that was
the moment got to him for the worse, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean, right? It was but, he blew it big. I mean, it's.
You know what that reminds me of? So here's the thing: is I really like Jim Harbaugh because I'm a Niner fan, and we all know that Jim Harbaugh did miraculous things for the Niners, right?
Oh yeah, and by the way, Jim's been doing great things for Michigan too. So
yeah, for sure. Anywhere he goes, he'll do well.
This is not Jim's fault by any means, and Michigan did play a hell of a game. First of all, I don't think Michigan's players should have been kicked out of the game. That was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
but
I agree. But here's the thing. I have this conspiracy theory going that there's a curse of the Jim Harbaugh, right? Because when he was with the Niners, he could never beat Seattle. He could never beat those motherfuckers, those Seahawks. And I'm sorry if you're a Seattle fan. Go fuck yourself. I don't care. I hate Seattle.
Hey, anyway. Superman Cam Newton called your number, Seahawk fans.
Yeah, that's right. Good point. So we could never ring it in with trying to beat Seattle. And then Harbaugh has this, and we had opportunities where it was just right there in front of us. And Harbaugh kind of carried that with Michigan.
You think he's going to have the curse with Michigan? You think he's going to have that curse with Michigan State?
Mm-hmm.
See, my theory is this is his first year with the team.
Uh-huh.
It's only fitting that he lose it. But what I will say, and I will hold this down, they are going to beat Ohio State. Michigan is going to be the team that beats Ohio State. I'm calling it right now. It's the way it's going to be. But next year they're going to have a better season. So I feel bad. Punter totally fucked it up. I think overall – so that's Michigan. Indianapolis. I don't care if the intention was not to hike that ball.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking?
Oh, everybody that watched that play at first goes, what the fuck kind of setup is this? And then
I love
like what were you to get? What were they hoping for?
The
they
Patriots,
were going to a hard count.
The Patriots defense at first was just like, wait a minute. So there's 9 guys over here and 2 over here, and wait a minute, there's only 2 where the football is going to be. Let's just put 4 guys over there, and let's hit the guy who's going to get the ball. I mean, what would have made that even better? And I mean would have made this even better than it actually was. Would have been when they hit the Colts player that he fumbled the ball, and they picked it up and ran in for a touchdown. If they ran that in for a touchdown, that would have been priceless. I wish, and I said this to a couple Patriots fans, I wish I was standing right next to Bill Belichick when he was watching that. And had the opportunity to say, Bill, what do you think about this right now? Because I'm sure he'd be like, what the fuck is Chuck Pagano thinking?
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, Indianapolis, Michigan was just unfortunate. That was a total clusterfuck. Colts, that was the worst fucking shit ever, man, because that's just stupid. There's unlucky and then there's stupid, and that was stupid.
I agree. There's so much of this stuff that goes on every season in NFL, because every time the NFL season starts, you just kind of go, there's always some other bullshit like this that goes on, like whether it be weird officiating or very gray lines officiating or just missed calls, whatever. But hey, that's the nature of sports. It's the nature of football. So
it totally is. But it's like, you watch the Colts players walking in the sideline, and if you read Chuck Pagano's lips, and everyone's saying, he says, "Why'd you hike the ball?" Right. If I was that fucking center, I would say, "Why the fuck did you call that play, coach?"
Yeah.
I fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but that was just.
What kind of play was that? Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Exactly. What were we trying to do? Trick Denver by accident? Who knows?
Anyways,
moving on.
I just think that the Pats are going to go back to the Super Bowl. They're probably going to win it again because they look like they're powerhouses. Deflate ball or not, whatever the fuck that people think. But yeah,
this always happens to them, man. They're gonna lose it later on. They're not going to have a perfect season. They may win the Super Bowl, but they're not going to have a perfect season. And if they do have a perfect season, they're going to lose the Super Bowl, and they're going to lose it. I'm thinking, though, that Peyton Manning is doing a reverse Manning. He is actually going to improve when it gets into the shitty weather.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be December, and Peyton Manning is going to look like, wow, what the hell? This guy's just throwing bullets and completions and touchdowns up the wazoo. And then he's going to win the Super Bowl, and he's going to retire.
Yeah, I like to see that. I like Peyton Peyton Manning in general, so.
Let's see what that does. I'm sure there will be people who are tuning you're fucking crazy. But anyways, let's get back on topic.
All right. So, first topic. Sorry, guys. That was a long fucking tangent. I apologize. So let's first talk about what we've been smoking the last couple of weeks. Seth, you've been probably smoking a hell of a lot more than I have, so.
Yeah, Mr. Root. I smoked the Romeo Cedros Deluxe, which I think is spectacular.
Yeah,
I think it's got the ability to go the distance. I just love it. It's like my favorite Romeo I've smoked in a really long time, and I just love the presentation of it too. So that was exciting.
Is it the whole cigar? Is it the entire thing?
Yeah,
that seated sleeve?
It's that new one. It's that sleeve for the LCDHs. Yeah.
Okay.
Really awesome.
Nice.
So smoked that. Then I smoked that blinded double Corona.
Great.
Remember? Yeah, and I got it.
Did you like that cigar?
That was all right. It was St. Louis Ray double Corona. It was all right.
Yeah, there's some talk out there where people say that, speaking of double Coronas, they miss that a lot, like an Asian St. Louis Ray double Corona. And I've smoked, a decent share of them because that actually came from a cab of 50.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, I don't know, it's not bad. It's not great. It's got some good flavors, but it feels kind of monotonous, I thought.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Is it great? No. Is it bad? No. Can it be disappointing? Yeah, but it's like you couldn't get me to invest into a 50 count cab of those. You just can't. I'd rather go buy 225s of different double Coronas.
Yeah,
which I do.
Right. Anything that's like part of the Lusitanias, or spend a little bit more. Lusitania, like those are typically always a pretty good bet. So.
Yeah, Ramon Ionis Gigantes are usually very solid too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah,
get a punch double Corona for pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, punch, bullies, like all of them really, because all the other ones they consistently fire well. So
then I moved on to the Oya Epicure #1, which was just nice, very classic. That was that same Oya. You said same box as the blind one, and it just doesn't smoke like an Oya. I mean, it's just there's more. There's a lot more to it. It's just not that classic Oya flavor, which I really love. It's got a lot more depth to it, but it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked a very young Siglo 6, which you gave me a hard time for.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. I mean, it was. What was I? I was watching my Cubs beat the Cardinals. I mean, it was one of those things. No, it was a good stick, nice flavors, young, but it's gonna get better.
Oh, nice.
And then went to a Mania Limitada 2010, that Granded Mundo, which if you have these, they're smoking like champs right now.
Yeah,
they are amazing. Smoke these. I'm sure you can still get some. I think somewhere's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're definitely marked up. You know, they're not that. What is it? When they first came out, or that 140, 150, 160 bucks a box. You know, you're no longer going to get that pricing, but you know.
Yeah, they're like 140 or something. 150. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect to pay like close to double at this point.
Yeah, anything in the twos, but man, they're great. If you come across them, pick them up. It'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
Then I smoked that exclusive Cohiba 109.
Wait, what actual cigar was that, by the way?
I have no idea what the hell it was, man. I'll tell you one thing. It was a well-rolled 109. You looked at it like, gosh, this is a gorgeous 109. Then you look at the Cohiba band on it, and you're like, geez, man, this Cohiba band's messed up. Obviously, it's on a Cohiba. I mean, Cohiba doesn't have a 109. I smoked. I was like, man, this is not good at all.
Wait, someone sent it to you like that?
Someone gave me that.
Oh, someone gave you that exactly like that.
Someone gave me that exactly.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to say who. So
no, I just assumed that you took a custom roll and then you put a Cohiba band on it. You took a picture of it. You're like, ha ha. Look.
No, negative. Someone gave me. They said, hey, blah blah blah. Was in Cuba, and I know that they actually were in Cuba. I do know they were in Cuba, and they got these for me. So I don't know where they got them on the streets. Who knows? So he hands it to me. He opens this little travel humidor, and I see like 5 of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like I'm not gonna say like, dude, there is no Cohiba 109, man. It's just not real. That's just not real. I mean, even before I looked at the band, which the band was totally fake too. I mean, but it was a nice fake band, and I should have kept it, but I just trashed it just because it was one of those. It was fake, but I mean, there were some faults in it, but it was not too bad. But man, the cigar was freaking terrible. But I was just laughing. I was like, "Gosh, Cohiba 109, thanks, man." I was like, "Wow, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. This is way too much. This is splendid."
So you don't even know you don't know what it is. You have no idea what it is, whether it's Cuban tobacco or not or whatever.
They got it in Cuba. They did get it in Cuba. They got it in Cuba. So it's probably on the street or something. But whoever rolled it did a good job rolling. Now, what they rolled did not taste good, but they could roll.
Sure.
Which kind of just goes back to my whole my father cigars theory. That factory knows how to roll. They just can't really pop out any good blends right now.
They could pop out good blends for other people.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to. Right. They just need to use that factory to roll cigars for people who have the tobacco. That's what they.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I hear you.
But they just say, "Hey, we don't blend, we don't grow, we just roll." That should be their motto.
Yeah. I mean, they're perfect execution. I mean, they're perfect executors of that. I mean,
oh yeah, cigars smoke beautifully.
Yeah. So, is that it?
That's what I smoked. Let's go to your list before the root canal.
Yeah. So, I reviewed a blind cigar that was, I forget who it was sponsored by. I think it was either sponsored by Havana's or Ravi. Cigars of Habanos. But anyways, so this is through BNP. So I smoked it, and then I I texted Aaron and I was like, "You give me another fucking Cuban cigar to review, to blind review," and he's like, "Yeah." So actually from February 2014.
Punch.
Yeah, it was good, man. It tasted like a younger version of a younger, bolder version of that Punch Gran Robusto Spain regional that we had.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
it was
winner.
really good. And after I smoked that, I realized I don't have a lot of Punch Marca in my stash.
Yeah.
It makes me want to buy some. Yeah, like I don't, and I really don't have any reasons not to. So.
Yeah, that punch Spain was a good one.
Yeah. And I really smoked another one aside from that. I had the I got gifted a pre-release version of the H. Upman. What is it? They call it the Magnum 56, which is
the 15 Limitada.
Yep. So I had that right before that whole abscess thing blew up on me.
How'd that thing smoke?
Man, it was so good. I mean, it is definitely in my top 5 cigars so far of the year.
Nice.
I don't know how high within the top 5, but pretty freaking high. And the actual ring gauge is actually, I think it's like 56 ring gauge, right? But it doesn't feel like mouthfeel wise, it doesn't feel like it's a big old girthy stick.
Yeah.
So,
looking at your photo of it, very nice.
Yeah,
it's a lot of bands. It's a lot of bands on that.
It's a lot of bands. It's interesting because
is that the first time they've had 3 bands? Well, no, I mean they have the.
No, so check this out. It's actually not 3 bands. That band, the H. Upman typical band, it's actually one big band within the H. Upman and the Mag 56.
So they did like that the connoisseur number or connoisseur A kind of deal and made a big band.
Exactly. And then the bottom one is of course your typical LE. So, oh man, it was such a good cigar. Like it had a lot of a typical H. Upman DNA for me, which is a lot of sweet creaminess, sweet cedar. But I mean, at this point, I would at least want to buy a box of these and quite possibly 2. And the only thing that I'm scared to buy a lot of these is, for instance, I remember when that Boulevard Super Coronas came out, the LE 14.
Busted.
When they first came out, I liked it.
No, now it's busted.
Exactly. So all of a sudden it's going through this funky sick. I hope it's going through a sick period right now. And it's completely busted. And you know what else that reminds me of is the Ramon Ionis, the 2011 Limitada.
Yeah.
That thing's busted too, and I refuse to smoke any of it.
It wasn't as. I smoked it late, and I was very disappointed when I smoked. I was like, "Gosh, this is a total bummer." I'm glad I really didn't bother too much with it. What's funny about the Super Cronus is I was actually I was chatting with, I was actually Skyping with Jose Blanco, who smoked it. And he agreed with us. He says, when I first smoked it, I liked it. And then I smoked it again recently. He says, gosh, this is not good. It's really gone downhill.
Right. What the heck? You know what
dude, I think Simon ditched town, man. Simon is like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here.
Dude, maybe ask Blanco or some of the other blenders that you're buddies with. When tobacco does that, what does it typically mean, if anything? Because
we got to talk about that. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm gonna write that down in the mind and remember that.
Here's the thing. That kind of goes back to the whole it reminds me of the discussion where people debate about, what is a good ageable cigar? And typically people will say something that's on the spicier level, something that has like edginess, like a lot of tannins, right? Like a young Cabernet, for instance, right? Like those typically they say will age well compared to like
a Stag's Leap Cabernet will age. Woof.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but in the tobacco world, in the cigar tobacco world, I want to get an understanding of people that know the tobacco, of course. Guys like I assume Blanco and I don't know, maybe some of those Casa Fernandez guys that you may know.
Oh yeah, Nick Malone would be a good one to talk about that too.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I feel like rarely do, people in the industry talk about, like meaning the blenders of the industry and the makers, like the cigar makers, So I don't know. I want to know. So Jose, Nick, if you ever if you're watching this show, we would love to know.
We'll get him on. We'll get him on, and we'll get him to talk about it. We'll talk about some things. We'll talk about the tobacco.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, that was a slight tangent. But yeah, man, that's all I've had in terms of the Cuban stuff. Yeah, but those are pretty damn good cigars, man. Like, and I rarely rate cigars to purchase, especially when I do my blind reviews.
Yeah.
But definitely those punch, man. Like I would at least get a $5, and I think I would go in and get a whole, dress box of them and smoke and lay down. So
punch. The cigar's so nice they named it twice.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about. I know you made one purchase.
Made a couple purchases.
Oh, okay.
we need to go back to we'll go back to my cutting skills later on. Yeah, so some recent purchases I made. Bali Royal Coronas restocked.
Nice.
Beautiful box.
Yeah. Dress box, correct?
Dress box. Monty Petite Mundos. I was up in the air.
Mundos. Oh wow. Okay. I haven't heard those in a while.
I love the Petite Mundos.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best Montecristo you can buy. I mean, I'm not going to go for a 2. I like the Petite number 2 is actually more than the 2 somewhat.
Yeah.
I like double Edmundos or Edmundos. I love the Petite Edmundos. Great smoke, small, tons of flavors.
Nice.
Yeah, then I got a
do you remember the book? Do you remember the box code of those that you got?
No, that's if I can get them for you. They're 14s. Those are 14s.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then I have a Boulevard Libertador, which is another late 2014 box, which is that's probably the best LCDH release ever. I just think it's a massive stick, but that really takes the Boulevard brand to a different level, which is just still awesome. I mean, you like them, don't you? Have you ever used them?
I've actually never got a chance to bind those. I don't know why. I feel like here's where I am with this stuff. I feel like I am so packed with like Bolis and Ramon Iones and Cohibas and that kind of stuff like that. I'm kind of looking to diversify my portfolio. Sometimes I think about that. And then I think about it, I'm like, that's stupid. Why don't I just buy what I enjoy smoking and what I've smoked before, like market-wise?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, those seem like good ones to pick up.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely winners. I mean, it's great. I think it's like 180. They were on sale at iHavanas, who's a sponsor of ours, by the way. They're on sale for this month. iHavanas.com. Boulevard Libertadores, $165 for a box of 10.
That's a great price, man.
Terrific.
And I'm not saying that just to like fluff Brian's freaking.
No, it's a terrific price.
Yeah, I'm not blowing smoke up his tank or anything.
Yeah, these are Sublimes, which is, I mean, it's an awesome big smoke. I mean, I know it's winter time, but what's perfect is make the purchase now.
Mm-hmm.
Let them chill. Then when springtime and summer gets here, the skirts come out, you see some more tits, light up a big baby.
Or wear a tank top and show off your own tits, because we know that most cigar smokers are big fat people.
That's a low blow on the fat guys out there. So
whatever, I'm a fat guy myself. Anyways,
let's see what other specials. They have Petit Robustos of the Ollas, which I'm not crazy about. Ooh, they do have San Cristobal El Principes. Box of 25. Right here, smoking it right here. 99 bucks.
Really good.
99 bucks.
Really good.
Amazing
stuff. I haven't seen prices like that in a while, honestly. So I actually need to reload on those.
Yeah, they have the fucking Cohiba Maduros. Who gives a shit? Those are always on sale.
Yeah,
That's, I
nobody
mean,
buys it.
Por Laranaga Panatellas, no, Romeo Bellicosos, Monte Petit #2s, which I just smoked. Yeah, man, go to I Habanas, get a box of the San Cristobal El Principes on the Boulevard Libertador. You know, you'll be spending under $260 and you're getting 35 awesome sticks.
Yeah, agreed.
I didn't even mean to plug that in, but that worked out perfectly.
No. I mean, honestly, like, it's anybody that are fairly veterans of Cuban cigars, they know that if you're talking gray market and just market in general for Cuban cigars, Havana's specials are truly some of the cheapest out there that you could get. So, and
it's great prices, quality product.
So, and then they're of course authentic. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So, let's see. What else?
You know, actually, to continue on purchases. Have you made any purchases?
No, I haven't. I'm actually waiting to make a big purchase in about a month.
It's going big. Big Daddy's going big.
Yeah, I have this thing where when I buy, I just kind of buy in bulk, and then I'll just chill for a little bit. So.
You go to Costco.
Yeah, pretty much Costco mentality. So
the Costco mentality. But you know, here's the thing. This is what you're trying to talk about. I don't really get into the other marcas. You know, because I feel like the Habanos portfolio, with a lot of offerings, it's not anywhere near what the non-Cuban is. And I've gone through every brand, basically. Well, actually, I have. I mean, and, you know, I've smoked them all. And I found the ones I really like. So it's like, do I want to buy Quabas? Fuck no. I'm not going to put any damn Quabas in my humidor. But there's an appeal there because it is, I'm not going to lie, there's an appeal to have it in the humidor because it's a Cuban. And it's one of those things, it's not like it's just that readily available. So you just kind of want all these offerings in there. And then that's when I got to the point I was like, why the fuck do I have a bunch of Quabas when I hate Quaba?
Right.
I mean, it's like, this isn't making sense. So stick to the marcas you love, man, and stick to those Vitolas in each market that you really dig, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just know that, and I mean, on top of what you just said, when I go and reach for a cigar that I want to be excited to smoke, I'm never going to be excited to smoke a Cuava. You know, like that's just reality. And
it's like
smoking cigars for me is about, well, it used to be just about pure enjoyment, but now it's work or enjoyment, right? Like if I'm reviewing a cigar, it's typically not because I'm going to enjoy it. It's because I have to, you know, be prepared to actually review it the right way, like with the clean palate, et cetera, right? So it is work. It's enjoyable work, but it's not as enjoyable as what I really want to pick out in my cabinet and be like, okay, this is really what I want to smoke.
So what I want to do. This is what I want to smoke. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so let's kind of get into our next little segment. So within this last, I would say 3 weeks or so, 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, quite a bit of stuff that Habanos SA has released. Some of the hotter ones that I like to kind of hit up upon is. So I'll just kind of name them all right now, and then we could just kind of go through them and talk about our thoughts on them in general. So things that come to mind is the Upman #2 Reservas, the Ramon Ionis 898, the Aluminia Regional, the Romeo Julieta Cedros, the LCDH edition, and last but not least, the Partagas Maduro. So let's just kind of take each of them and then we'll talk about it. So let's first talk about the Upman 2 Reservas. So Seth, what's your take on just kind of Habanos SA picking that one for their newest Reserva and just a Reserva program in general?
You know, I was kind of surprised they picked the #2 when you have something like the Sir Winston, to be honest. But I do think the H. Upman #2 is probably the best Pyramide that comes out of Cuba. I think it is light years ahead of Monte Cristo. I think it's far superior to the Partagas, even the Cohiba Pyramid Extra, which is a little different, bigger. And there's that appeal to it. It's just one of those things. I think Upman number 2 is one of those, I don't know I can see why they picked it. It's just, there's a little mystique to it. At the same time, I was like, why don't you just do an H Upman Sir Winston? I think that's, I don't know. I love Churchills.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're finally released. It's probably one of the reserves that I'm actually like, wow, okay, I love the H Upman number 2. I'm very interested in smoking it. At the same time, the damn price on it's going to be damn ridiculous. I smoked with that being said, I smoked the Cohiba Siglo 6 Reserva. Did you ever smoke it?
The Grand Reserva, you mean?
Yeah, Grand Reserva, yeah.
No, I mean, at this point, I didn't catch them when they were out. And at this point, I don't want to pay the price to smoke one. So...
Yeah, it's one of those things. When that was released, I kind of felt that it was fairly in line with just a regular Siglo 6. I know it's kind of some people be like, "Are you kidding me?" But no, I'm serious. So I'm excited if I can get a couple. I really don't want to get a box. If I can get a couple, which you can, it's something I do. At the end of the day, I don't think if you're like, wow, I can't justify spending that money. Good for you. Go buy the H Upman number 2s. I mean, they're going to be just as great in my opinion. But it's exciting. I'm glad that they finally got released. It's been a while, but that's always the case.
Yeah, and as for me, I kind of want to group kind of the reservists and Grand Reservists together. So a couple of points that you made. The first point, which is, why go with the H Upman number 2 format for the release of the Reserva? Why not? Because basically within the Vitolas, the Marca Vitolas that they picked, it's stuff that's essentially classic representations of Habanos, right?
Yeah.
So I will make a strong case in saying that Esplendidos, the Churchills and Double Coronas in general are classic examples that they have not yet used, i.e. the Esplendidos, the Sir Winstons that you just talked about. So like maybe that's what's in the next pipeline for the Grand Reservists per se. I mean, I would probably call it and say that one of the Grand Reservists coming out in the next year or so is going to be that Esplendido one, because surely if there's going to be anything Cohiba Reserva or Grand Reserva, people are going to freak out about it, and they'll actually buy those and clear them out.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest brands, and it makes sense that they do it in that. They do it in the global brands. I mean, those Cohibas, H. Upman, Oya. So I think probably Oya's next. And then we're going to get Jose Piedra Reserva. Hey, man, you joke. They do it. It's going to be the best filler stick out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm welcome to that. But another question that a lot of people have is within these reservists and Grand Reservists that come out, I mean, is it truly going to be that much of a difference between that and something like a well-aged rendition of that Marca and Vitola, right? Like,
yeah.
i.e., will the Upman Reserva taste better now? Well, not so much now, but down the road as compared to a well-aged, Upman number 2.
Well, because it's an interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I mean, that is the big question, right? And nobody truly knows at this point because we need time. We need time to do its thing on the cigars. So
it's very interesting because for the most part, Habanos are released with fairly young tobacco, and the cigars age as a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get the Reservas and the Grand Reservas, and it's a different approach. It's more the approach of, what's going on in, Nika and the DR and so forth, is aging the tobacco for a longer time, then using that aged tobacco in that whatever that size is. So it's vintage crops rather than a vintage cigar, which, I mean, it adds for a different outcome, because if they're blending for that release, which I assume they are, it's going to have they're going to go for that quality, but it's going to be a little bit different because of the aged tobacco. So there should be some youth to it.
Right.
With that being said, I have smoked a Cohiba Gran Reserva, and I found that it smoked similar to an aged Siglo 6. So did it have that extra Gran Reserva band? No. But, well, one of them didn't. But I thought, I couldn't justify buying a Gran Reserva when I could just buy, a box of regular Siglo 6s as well and just age them for a longer period of time, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
So, and the other thing is, I think Reservas and Gran Reservas are not meant for a majority of smokers. I mean, I think, you look at some of these Habanos in general, I think that they're, especially the Gran Reservas and Reservas, they are aimed for the elite, very wealthy Habano smokers.
Yeah. Or like super fanboy collectors.
Super fanboy collectors that are like, yeah, fuck it, dude.
Yeah. They'll save up and they'll buy something because they want the black lacquered box and the presentation, etc.
Yeah, and the presentation's gorgeous on them, but it's just so, I mean, if I can get my hands on a couple, yeah, I'll probably do it. But I'm not going to bend over backwards for them. With that being said, I'm sure it'll get tons of praise. They'd be stupid. Yeah. They'd be, I mean, if they really fucked up the H. Upmann number 2 Reserva, I'd be disappointed. So I think I got choppy there. I got choppy on my side.
I hear you. Yeah.
So what's next? The regional.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about a cigar that is incredibly hyped right now. And people are just like itching to just get their hands on, which is that Ramon Ionis 898, which is a Aluminia regional, which is the actual cigar that is brought back from back in the days. So back in the days, people talk about this particular cigar as having tons of legs, great Asian potential, big, strong, spicy stick. And, when you're on the forums, typically this cigar is one that's talked about when people have the discussion of a cigar that they want to bring back. And a lot of people will say that this is the one that they will bring back. And in general, people really enjoy the 898 format and the size of the cigar, which I think is a Dahlias.
Yeah, it's a Dahlias. It's a Lonsdale.
So,
which is a great size. I think the Partagas 898s are fantastic when they smoke like wonderful. I love the Ramon Ionis brand. I love the 898 size. You can combine the two, super duper.
Yeah, I think, and within just kind of, I've yet to smoke it. I got some in the air, so hopefully knock on doors, knock on wood. Access will be before it comes, after it comes. So, I mean, within the folks that's saying it on the forums, a lot of people say that it is, reminding them of the old Ramon 898 in the sense that it's very strong and it's bold, and people think that it has great Asian potential. And if that's the case, great. And I also think that this is a cigar that people are going to buy to flip down the road.
Yeah. So, I love that they did it in a 25 count box too. I mean, usually I look at regionals in a 10 count box, but with that 898 being 8 cigars, 9 cigars, 8 cigars, I like that they kept on the 25 instead of doing like a 343 or something like that, which they do in 10 count box for the 898s for the parties. So I appreciate it in that sense. I mean, Ramon Ionis regionals, in my opinion, can be friggin' amazing. when they blend them to be awesome Ramon Iones. I've had some terrific ones, especially for like Belgium and the Netherlands and so forth. Even Canada's had some good ones. So you're getting them. You'll let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely smoke them, and then we'll definitely put up a review on that. I'm also I'm just waiting for the right vendors to get it, but I'm planning to get the Ubid Reserve as well. So
Yeah,
we'll smoke those bad boys too, and then get a response to you guys and see what we think out of them. But in general, man, like, I mean, I've smoked in terms of just Reserva and Grand Reservas in general. I smoked the Monty Grand Reserva, the number 2s, the Partagas Lusitania Grand Reservas, as well as the Romeo Churchill Reserva. And I felt like for me, if I smoke something like that, it better be damn near, it better be for the year. Like, without question, it should be top 5 cigar. And what do I say that? I'm not saying that not only because of the price. Let's exclude price aside, but it's such a talked about within Habanos SA, this great program they do, and they this is the best of the best crop, and then this is vintage crop and good crop and blah blah blah, and great wrappers, great presentation. But so if you're saying all of that to me, my mind reads, it better be a pretty damn good cigar. Kind of like in the NC world of like the Davidoff, what is it, the Oro that they came out with? That's like a $500 cigar. If for instance Davidoff, for that, they basically said, hey, we use the best tobacco out there, right? And if that's the case, then you have the great masterminds of Davidoff blending, or the great masterminds of Habanos SA blending these things. It better be an amazing cigar. And if it's anything less than an amazing cigar, then I think they failed. And so far, within all these Grand Reservers and Reservers that I smoked, it has been a big fail.
Yeah. Disappointing. Yeah, and that's where it does get to be, you're like, damn it. So
yeah. But then again, it's like, it's the neat thing about Cuban cigars is, as we, most of us know, and vast majority of guys that kind of have the hope in, is it does age typically well. Like it does get better with age, in other words. So within something like that Grand Reserva, I mean, all of it is still so new that people are still aging it to see what that potential will be down the line.
Oh yeah.
So. And I'm good with that. And you know what? Like, and if at the end of the day, after the end of like, let's say 10 years or 8 years or whatever, and I don't like it, then I'll sell it, and I know that I can at least get my money back. So,
oh yeah,
no harm
absolutely
done, really.
No harm done. None at all.
Okay. So let's lastly talk about just kind of, I know we talked about the R&J Cedros.
Yeah, let's talk about the Partagas Maduro, because I've smoked that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I smoked it.
When'd you smoke that?
I smoked it. It was actually in the same week as the Romeos, and I just forgot to mention I smoked it.
Okay. Yeah, since you have first-hand experience smoking it, what are your thoughts?
I think we first need to be gentle with Cuba and Habanos on Maduros, because they really know how to fuck up Maduros. They just do not have that area of expertise. So I mean, especially when you smoke Cohiba Maduro 5s, you're like, good God, what the hell made them think now we could do a Partagas Maduro and make it even more successful? Right. With that being said, it is kind of what I expected with a Maduro coming from Cuba. It's not that great. It's not bad. It was okay. I think they did a smart size with it. I think it'll get better, a little bit better with some age. I still think it's young. But overall, it's just, I don't know. It's why you're doing it is beyond me. It's not one of your areas. It's kind of like Padron with a Damaso.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
Damaso actually really sucked though, but it's like, why enter into an area which you're really not that good at?
Right.
I mean, and it's one of those things that, you know, I think for the guys who really love Maduros, especially if you're like, you love the non-Cuban Maduros, it's not going to be for you. So don't ever think, oh man, Partagas Maduro, this is going to be up my alley. It's not. You know, it had a different flavor profile than core Partagas, which I appreciate. But overall, it just wasn't something to write home about. I'm glad I smoked it. I was hoping that I really like it or they do something good with it. But no, looking at Maduros though, if you told me, hey, what do you want to smoke? A Maduro, Cohiba Maduro 5, Partagas Maduro, I'd pick a Partagas Maduro.
Yeah.
I think it's better than those.
Do you think it's drastically? Can you compare the Cohiba Maduro against that Partagas Maduro?
You know, I need to smoke some more. I need to smoke a Cohiba Maduro. I haven't smoked in a little while.
Okay. So, I actually smoked a Cohiba Maduro in the Genio size.
Which this is the big size.
Yeah, that's the biggest one, I believe.
Which is kind of in line with the Partagas Maduro, I think.
Oh, okay. And that is a box that I got from early 2012, or the actual box is from early 2012. You know, and it tasted like, because when I think Maduros, I think about NC World.
Yeah.
And what a Maduro should be, which to me is typically very well, like a very heavy cream, lots and lots of chocolate. And if it's an added bonus, I get a lot of like this very overly ripe stewed fruit, sort of a note to it.
Yeah, you're not going to get that with the Partagas Maduro.
Right. Okay. So my perception of what a Maduro is and what a Maduro / what a good Maduro is of the non-Cuban cigar world. So when I smoked that Cohiba one, it tasted like ashtray. You know, like seriously, it seriously tasted like when you leave a cigar in an ashtray with ashes in that ashtray of the same cigar, and you come back to it the next day. It tasted like that.
Yeah. Now the ones I smoked were May 2015 box. It was an EML May 15 box, and I smoked them beginning of October. So that's June, July, September, whatever. Not that many months. And it was young. You could tell it was young, but at the same time, you're right. When I want a Maduro, I want a rich, flavorful body. Has a nice body to it. And in Cuban Maduros just don't have that. I feel like.
I agree. It feels like it's
lack.
It feels like it wants to get there, but it doesn't have that body and the strength of that we typically get out of, like, for instance, Nicaragua for that kind of a thing. You know? Yeah,
you get more. And I'm not saying that. I think there's other Cubans which give a Maduro flavor not a Maduro flavor profile, but something a little bit more in lines with the flavor profile of Maduro, especially one out of like Nicaragua. With other brands, you know, like Ramon Iones or a Partagas or even a Punch. And I know you're like, those don't taste anything like a Maduro, but they're closer in line with a Maduro than like the Cohiba Maduro, or even the Partagas Maduro, which is, so it's a little disappointing in that sense. You know, if I had to compare it with a Maduro, that's not Cuban. It's nowhere near a broadleaf. You know, I would say that it maybe has a little bit of a combination of like a Brazilian Matafina and a little bit of a Mexican San Andreas, but not.
There you go.
But not a very rich Mexican. It's almost a younger and softer Mexican. I always feel like their Maduros they have a little bit of sweetness to it. There's a little bit of the citrus quality. There's a little bit of earth, but there's not a lot of richness behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you brought up a good point earlier of Habanos as it's no one's buying the Cohiba Maduros, you know.
No.
And I try to think about, you know, the various regions that are, you know, big sellers of Habanos. Of course, U.S. is one of them. I mean, if you haven't made a good showing of sales for the Cohiba Maduro, what the heck makes you think that you could create a Partagas Maduro and sell that? It doesn't compute. So
it doesn't, and I'd be interested to see where a majority of, because I guarantee most Cohiba Maduro sales, if you could track down where the boxes go, I guarantee most of them go to the States.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
I mean,
I don't think there's any dumbass European or dumbass Asian that's buying those Maduros. I mean,
I agree.
I don't think anyone. I think they're like, fuck this shit. Let's let the Americans buy them.
Right.
I mean, and I think Americans are buying them because it's a Cohiba Maduro, and it's just, hey.
Yeah, that's exactly why I bought the original box of Cohiba Maduros, because I was relatively new in the, you know, Habanos world, and I figured, oh my gosh, Maduro, big, you know, nice, hearty, dark wrappers. Surely it will give me greater body and greater fuller body and, you know, more pronounced, deeper flavors, right? I mean, that's exactly why I bought them, and I guarantee most people that buy those, it's exactly that feeling.
Oh yeah, you got Donald Trump, man. You got tricked.
Pretty much, right? But hey, lesson learned. Don't buy more.
Exactly, and that's, you know, that's the thing. It's like, then I bought a box, gosh, a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half ago, and the best response I got was I posted the photo of the box. Was when Catfish, probably within 2 minutes of me posting the photo, said, "What the fuck? Why'd you buy that? Why'd you waste your money on that shit?" And I was like, very good point. Very good point. I don't know why. And I still have them lying around. I'm like, maybe I'll smoke them.
Yeah. Well, as do I. I still have my lying around, but I don't know, man. Like, I still have that hope that it'll get better. Like, it's like, it'll get better. It'll get better. In
the meantime, it's, you know, it's like that way when anyone ever's like, I got a friend, and I've given these out before. They're like, "Hey Seth, you know, I know you got Cubans. Do you think you can give me a Cohiba?" I'm like, "Yes, I got the Cohiba just for you. Here's a Cohiba Maduro box." Oh man, thank you so much.
It's supposed to be really expensive.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, that's all. That's how much I love you, man. So that's what you do with those babies.
All right. So let's talk about the last thing that we had in our agenda, which is
the hybrids.
Yes, the hybrids, right? So within this last, I don't know, like week or week and a half ago, I received this email from a Habano or Europe, and they said that, you know, they have a new house blend out, and they disclosed this much about the blend. They said that 50% is Nicaraguan tobacco, and 50% is Cuban tobacco, and it's being rolled in Honduras. So where in Cuba, where in Nica are the tobaccos coming from? It's not specified. What is specified is exactly what I just said. So that kind of got me thinking, you know, Seth and Rory thinking about is this the beginning of the hybrids coming in? Of course, we know that within the non-Cuban cigar current market, there's a ton of hybrid leaves out there, a lot of, you know, crossbreeding and cross usage of different countries and whatnot. So, yeah, man. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I've yet to smoke these. I'm tempted to get a fiver just to. Well, actually, I'm gonna see what the people say on the forum first, so I don't just waste my money on it. But
how much are they? How much are they for like a 5-pack?
If I remember correctly, it's not cheap. I think it's like $14 a cigar for like I want to say they're like maybe Robusto extras.
Hmm.
So like perhaps like 5.5 by 50 or maybe 6 by 50, somewhere in that range. That's just working off rough recollections of it, but probably no bigger than that though.
I
For $14 a
guarantee.
cigar, not by no means is it a cheap cigar. I would say it's a fairly higher price cigar for a house blend especially.
I guarantee if it's made in Honduras, I guarantee I'd put money that it's made by Nestor Plasencia.
That would be smart too.
Oh yeah.
So
I think by making it in Honduras, you can control the quality and the productivity a little bit better. I think you can get a little bit more of a focus. I think it also gives you an easier access to a lot of tobacco. I mean, for instance, you wanted to make this cigar with Cuban, Nicaraguan, and Cuba. You're moving Nicaraguan tobacco over to Cuba. That's a friggin' train wreck waiting to happen right there. So this way, it's easier. You can control the tobacco going over to Honduras. Especially if you're working with Nestor, who's got a lot of farms in Nicaragua too, and Honduras. It's easier that way. You get access to the tobacco pretty easily. So I think it's smart that they're having it made in Honduras or Nicaragua. I imagine Honduras just because it's cheaper and it's easier.
It's being rolled in Honduras. So it's made in Honduras.
I mean, the Nicaraguan tobacco, it's from all over. They're probably getting Jalapa, Esteli, maybe a little Ometepe, Condega. And it's, I'll be interested to smoke. Do they say what is the wrapper? Is the wrapper Cuban? Do they say?
No. They only told about the total composition. They only talked about that. So
I'd be interested. I'd be interested to know what the wrapper is. I think it's one of those things. If it's just Cuban tobacco in the filler, okay, but I think it'd be more exciting if it had a Cuban wrapper. I think they would have said if it had a Cuban wrapper.
Yeah, I agree. I think I will. The only way to really get me to buy this cigar is if it had a Cuban wrapper.
Absolutely.
And the gut for either all Nica or a hybrid of, Cuba and Nica. But for me, the wrapper has to be, Cuban pur.
Yeah,
so.
you got to you have to give it a Cuban wrapper. The binder can be Nicaraguan, and then I think you have a blend of Cuban and Nicaragua. I think that would be, the most appealing way if I were to ever buy it.
I think that goes for most people as well.
Yeah.
So, but that kind of, what's up?
I was gonna say otherwise it's just like, damn, I'm just getting Cuban filler tobacco. It's like it's like
right.
I doubt you're getting that top quality because they may be communists, but they're not idiots.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that kind of got me in the route of thinking also, like, dude, like, what if someday, and I think it'll happen when, big crazy thoughts like when Lito Gomez gets Cuban tobacco to work with his stash, like, who knows what the heck that could taste like? That just sounds wild just thinking about it,
Oh, and if you talk to a lot of like these old guys, like Manuel Casada, or even Jose Blanco, or enough of these guys, they'll tell you. They've done it. They've blended cigars with a variety of tobacco. And I smoked a cigar that was, and I won't say who it was by, but it had an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, and then it had Nicaraguan and Cuban fillers with a Nicaraguan binder, and I really liked it. It was a Toro. This was back in 2007. It was a good stick. And it was very unique. You could pick up a lot of the qualities, and I could tell what a Cuban tobacco. I could taste the Cuban tobacco. You could get the Nicaraguan. The Ecuadorian Habano wrapper was just kind of a, it was a new wrapper at the time. It was an exciting wrapper. So, but it was unique and it's fun, and I think there's a lot of opportunities. I don't know how soon we'll see these blends with Cuban tobacco in there, just because of the complexity that would come, if Cuban tobacco started getting available, just because there's a whole level of complex shit before anything like that can happen.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, minus the political, governmental, just truly talk about tobacco. I mean, who's to say that Habano's SA, who is incredibly picky about which farmer, grows what and whatever blends goes for what. I mean, who's to say that they're going to be open to selling their Cuban tobacco to, right? Like, who's to say they're going to do that? Nobody said that, right? So,
yeah, it's one of those things that it's just so. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's a whole complex thing. All I know is before any of that happens, I'm going to buy a box of Cohibas, never open them, because I want the box date to be before anything. I want to have a box of Embargo Cohibas. Yeah. Because that's going to be the cool shit.
Well, I agree. And I think what's going to be another cool shit, just thinking ahead, completely assumptions, of course, is I think they're going to open up one of those worldwide brands and then make the first U.S.
What's up?
I think what's going to be really crazy, and they might do, is what would be just absolutely wild, is they're going to open up one of those worldwide markets, like the Cohibas, Monte Cristo.
Oh, yeah.
And make the first ever USA regional off of them. Wouldn't that be sick? You talk about a highly prized box of cigars down the road. Man. Oh, my
gosh. That would just be friggin' 6x60 regional edition.
Yeah.
Something.
Maybe they'll have a torpedo head to, soften up the less of a donkey dick of a mouthfeel. So.
Oh yeah, man, that'll sell for like $300. It'll be classic.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, man. Well, we're a little over today because of probably the football talk, but it's all right. I had to get my hatred out for the fucking show.
No, we had to do it. Oh gosh, I know. The sad thing is we missed the Star Wars preview at halftime.
Yeah,
the Star Wars preview at halftime. So
shit when all the geeks have watched it for their 50th time.
Oh, exactly. And how many people tuned in to watch? How many Star Wars geeks tuned in to watch Monday Night Football who don't even know what a first down is?
Best ratings ever, and this is all by Star Wars.
Best ratings ever because of fucking Chewie.
Thanks.
What a Wookiee.
All right, man. Well, sign us out, Seth.
Sign us out.
Yep.
What Embargo, Book 2, Chapter 3, whatever the fuck it is, man. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to check out those deals at ihavanas.com. And as always, use Boveda. Keep your sticks safe. Unlike Logan Lawler, who's a fucking tool bag and uses Cigar Oasis.
He uses Cigar Oasis?
Signing out. Yeah, he likes to flood his cigars with humidity.
What a douche. He probably has like concrete mix and puts water in that shit or something. Anyway,
something. Who knows what he's doing down there? Laters.